Too late. We're live now. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Superior Crew Live. It's our first inaugural live. We are coming to you pre Thanksgiving Day, and we're going to talk about what the title says all things wedding and notary and yada, yada, yada. So now I'm going to throw it to Reggie. Should I throw it to you, Reggie? Or should we introduce ourselves first?
I think we should introduce ourselves.
Okay, well, everybody knows me, but we're streaming on multiple places. So I'm Ayana, aka the Crafty Notary, and I'm gonna make it so that we can display our names. Boom, there we go. AKA the Crafty Notary, and you can find me on my YouTube channel at the Crafty Notary. And now we'll go to Reggie. What? Stop touching stuff. Go, Reggie.
Hey, what's up? My name is Reggie. I'm actually the Central Florida Notary here in Orlando. I am a notary, and I do a lot of weddings. I actually focus more on weddings here.
Hi, I'm Bridgelle of BLE's Notary Services, also the owner of BLE's Notary Support Group 2. I had to make another group, and you can also find me on YouTube at BLE's Notary Support Group 2.
All right, so this episode is all about Reggie's wheelhouse. Bergeau and I are here for more support and to talk about other questions that folks have asked us personally. But on my YouTube channel, I did get a request to talk about weddings. So here we go. So Reggie, you go ahead and take it away and get started on the wedding industry as a notary.
So thank you so much. Now I want to make sure that these guys also do weddings. They don't focus on it, and we all have our own wheelhouses that we're really good at. Ayana being Ron, and then Elise being everything else, and all of these guys are really good at what they do. And in the short period of time that I've known them, they've definitely had me level up. But to give you guys context in terms of how I started as a notary like most people do. And my story doesn't start without starting with Miss Lugo, Ayana, the Crafty Notary. I randomly on YouTube was like looking for notary stuff just to figure it out. And I hadn't quite committed to actually transitioning to do the loan signing stuff. And I went across her video, commented, and she responded, and I actually moved forward with doing the loan signing agent thing, and it was the best decision that I made. And through Ayana, I met Bergeau, and these guys have been a wealth of knowledge. But I actually started doing weddings about a couple months ago, actually about 4 months now. July, I want to say 27th was my very first request for a wedding. And it was booked in advance. It was in October time frame, but I didn't perform my first wedding until August 1st. And it's been a little bit of a whirlwind because I had a really fast start. I hit the ground running. I've always had, as you can tell with my personality and how I sound, I've always had an element of performance there. I just didn't have the right vehicle to really flex my muscle. I've always had a flair for being silly and crazy, almost to a fault sometimes. And, with looking at videos on YouTube and just having discussions in terms of figuring out a way to pivot, because loan signings at the time were starting to die down. I want to say in the month of July, I might have had 5 loan signings as opposed to my first month in the month of March. It was about 30 signings. So, clearly there's a big chasm there. So with talking with these guys and also engaging with my Central Florida Notary, which is also on YouTube, it was really about how do I not necessarily stay relevant? How do I continue to make up for that money that I'm not making now, having the loan signing agent part with, interest rates going up and, super saturation and all those things that happen, that are cyclical, as Ayana would say. And it was just a need to try to figure out what my next move was going to be, because I enjoy the entrepreneur or part-timepreneur aspect of this business. So I said to these guys, and I said to my husband, and also during a meetup that I had in the month of June, I kind of it sparked my interest to do, and I just researched it and decided to put my my
Oops.
leg out there. Um, I decided to put my leg out there, and it bit. I mean, like I said, after a few days, my very first wedding was August 1st. By the end of that month, I had 5. By the end of month 2, I had 10. Month 3, 20, and now I'm at 22 weddings done so far. So I like to say that I have something to add of value into this space. So
I would think you have something to add. And let's pause there and let's just do some housekeeping. If you're watching this video, wherever you're watching it, please like the video, thumbs up, and we are here to be interactive. So if you have questions specifically for either any one of us or on the topic or any topic at hand, please use the chat. And let's chat and let's talk. This is a dialogue, it's a conversation, and that's what we are intending for this to be. And hopefully with good feedback, we can keep doing this more and more and more. So I know there's some folks in here. So yeah, just make sure you like the video and let's have a conversation. Say hi. We want to say hi to you. So let's do that. So Reggie, let me ask you a question, because I know that a lot of people are wondering, how do they get started as a wedding officiant? What was that process like for you when you first transitioned from loan signing and maybe general notary work to doing the weddings? What process did you go through?
good question. So it actually started as a thought from when me and my husband got married about 7 years ago. I say about 7 years ago. 7 years ago when we got married, and it was really in response to gay folks being able to marry. We couldn't before 2015. And I remember having a conversation with a few friends, more specifically the young lady, Tara, who actually married us, about becoming a notary. And it was kind of an afterthought. And long story short, when I decided to become a notary and I realized that we could actually solemnize marriages here, I decided at the time that I was going to become ordained. It was like, you know what, maybe I should become ordained. So I did. And ordination is actually very easy. I actually did my ordination through American Marriage Ministries. And it was really just going in, putting your information in there and getting a certificate. I did pay extra to get the certificate because I felt like people were probably going to be asking for credentials. So I purchased it. It was like $50 for everything. So I did that. And I just kind of sat on it for about 7 months. And then, like I said, in July, it popped back up in my head. And, after having a conversation with somebody that was actually at the notary meetup, it invigorated me too. And one of the things that these guys have learned over this short period of time, once I'm on something, I focus on it. And I'm just like 110% that. So I researched it. I actually got started following Onboarding Weddings. I can't pronounce his last name, but Mark G was someone that I looked into, as opposed also with a few other people as well. And I just decided, after getting as much information as I could, to go ahead and just jump out there, even though I didn't have any experience. And that's really what it took. It just took me putting myself out there on that line, saying, you know what, I'm going to do this. I have done public speaking before. You majored in radio. These are things that are in your wheelhouse that you can do. It's just you've never officiated a wedding before. So, like I said, shortly after putting it on Thumbtack, which I'll tell you guys more about later on, putting it on Thumbtack, I had people bite really fast. And, like I said, we already talked about the time frame in terms of me gaining business. But it was really as simple as making the decision to transition and then going out on faith and saying, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and do this, sink my teeth into it, and see if anybody bite. And they did.
Awesome. So let's say hi to some folks. Let's say hi to Nicole.
Hey, Nicole.
And Sammy's watching from Texas.
Whoop, whoop.
Hey.
Texas.
We got Scorpio. And June's watching. So welcome everyone. Thank you so much. And there's some folks here from Facebook, but we don't know your name. So we got some folks watching here from Facebook too. So here's another one. Barbara. Hey Barbara. So Bergeau, what
Yes.
let me tell us about your wedding experience as a notary. We haven't heard from you yet.
So I actually found out that I could do weddings as a notary from just doing research online. And I decided to become ordained because I'm not originally from Florida. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. So, and I also know people in Georgia. I know people in Texas. I know people in Arizona. Become ordained, I won't be limited on Florida. So if someone knows me and they I could go to another state and possibly do it, right? Mm-hmm. So it was kind of to in my neighborhood, and I was a bit nervous about it. I had already been prepared to do it because when I felt that I could do it as a notary, I went right to the internet, pulled up all of the scripts and the directions and the FAQs, and I made myself a nice little folder, papers and some screen protector, or what is it, sheet protectors. Mm-hmm. And I was ready for my first wedding, and I went, and it was actually a couple. It was actually a gay couple that I wedded for the first time. And the first thing that they said was, "We want you to marry us, but do you feel comfortable marrying lesbian?" Like, I don't care, you know. So they're like, okay. House. It was a small, intimate setting. They both had one family member there to witness, and we got it done. And mostly my experience with weddings has been small, intimate arrangements. It has never been any big, nice weddings like what Reggie does on a regular basis. I just have been asked to just do elopements, and I'm okay with that. I actually like them.
Yeah, and I guess I'm like the baby of the group as it relates to weddings because I'm not that keen on doing them. And if at all possible, I'll try to pass them off. And I think Melissa Battle Savage is with us. I think this is here. She said she had 4 weddings in October. Hey, Melissa. And before I say what I did, if you want to go live with us and come on camera, here's the link here. Click the link and you can, we welcome you to go live, especially if you're doing weddings. Let's talk about it. So my first wedding was July 4th. I had someone just call me up and say, can you notarize our marriage license? Mm-hmm. And so I contacted Bergeau. She emailed me quickly everything that I needed to do that, the quick wedding. The people actually came over to where I lived, and I did the wedding right at the Grove, right outside at the Grove. So that was my very first experience. I'm also an ordained minister too, and I got ordination just for the same reason, so that I have the flexibility to be to act as a minister or as a notary. So for those who don't know about that, let's talk about that really quickly. So if you go to, I went to ulc.org. Is that where you went, Bergeau? I think, Reggie, you went somewhere different, right?
American Marriage Ministries.
All right. So it seems like there's more than one, but I think they all do the same thing. It's literally like a 10-minute process. It costs you nothing initially to become ordained. And then all you have to do is just pay for like your certificate and like whatever other thing they sell wedding. certificates, but like your certificate that says you're ordained, the letter and all of that stuff, the little kit that they give you, and you just pay for that. I know some folks don't want to do that for religious reasons. They kind of feel like it's a little, iffy to become an ordained minister without actually like being affiliated with the church. I don't have that feeling, and I'm sure that none of us have that feeling. But the flexibility you have as a minister or as an ordained minister is that you don't have to stick to the Florida maximum for the notary stamp. So if you're operating as a notary, you can only charge up to $30 for the notary stamp. Now you can charge for other stuff. You can charge for travel. You can charge to provide flowers. You can charge to provide what do you do? Like MC,
Custom scripts.
MC
or
hours,
wedding coordination, and what's some stuff like. You can charge for everything else under the
Custom
sun.
scripts and stuff.
Yep, custom scripts, everything. You can charge for everything under the sun except for that stamp. It has to be $30 or no more than $30. But as a minister, you have the flexibility to go above and beyond that. But you will not stamp the marriage license. You will only sign, and you will sign in your ministerial capacity. So those are the differences between being a minister and being a notary public. I'm both, but I do all my marriage license as a notary public. And in fact, I got one this morning that I did early this morning at 11 a.m. Someone called me right as I was getting dressed and asked could I come over literally like right now. And thank God they were close by because I was trying to throw it off to Reggie. Melissa, I'm sorry, I didn't even think about you this early this morning. It was so early. But I had every intention on saying, nah, I can't do it. But I decided to go ahead and do it anyway. And I'm glad that I did because I learned a valuable lesson about social media. But we'll talk about social media on another day. We'll have Burjo talk about social media on another day. Let her get y'all together with this social media. But yeah, I did the wedding this morning and it turned out fantastic. You can go to my Instagram to see the picture there. Let's see what Sammy says. I can't do wedding officiant in Texas. I'm still getting set up, just a bit overwhelmed following my start business steps. Listening cause the subject of wedding officiant is interesting. Yeah, so in the state of Florida, notaries have the flexibility to also officiate weddings. So all you got to do, Sammy, is, if this ends up being something you're really interested in, is find out what the laws are in Texas. I know in Virginia, you can't be like ordained minister or a notary. You got to be like what do they call it? A civil servant, I think is what they call it.
Okay, yeah.
So I know that's in Virginia. So just find out what the laws are in your state, and if this is something that interests you. But yes, it can be a little overwhelming starting your business. So yeah. All right. So let's see. Let's talk about what do we talk about next? Marketing yourself. You want to talk about that next?
Sure.
I can't think of what else we can talk about next.
I guess we can also, talk about the process.
Marketing your wedding efficient service.
Right. Yep. Yeah, the process in which we take when we get a client, those kind of things.
Yeah, well, let's talk about marketing first, and then we'll talk about the process.
Okay. So I do most of my marketing on Thumbtack. Thumbtack is a pay-for-play service. It can become quite costly, and you do kind of have to put stipulations on how much you want to pay per lead and how you get really the best out of it. And it's actually worked really well for me. I think it has gotten me a lot of exposure in a short period of time that I've done it, which would be 4 months at this point. And I really have kind of incorporated that into some of the fees that I charge in terms of, coming up with the right price and things of that nature. And but I do most of my advertising on Thumbtack. It's an easy setup. You just have to thumbtack.com and go through the process of becoming a pro and going through all that. after the other things I do was Google. I have a Google page. I also have as of recent, a Apple Maps page that was created as well. I don't know who and how that happened. And I have Wedding Wire. I have The Knot. I also have Yelp, and I also have Wedfolio, which I actually got the idea from Virgil to do that. The officiant directory, which was given to me by another notary, and just word of mouth by just striking up conversations with people and letting them know what we do. I was on a cruise recently, and being the extrovert that I am, I had, I was, it was interesting how often that came up in topic, and people were like, "Oh, you marry people," and how that actually, kind of sparked some conversations and questions in terms of the process. So self-promotion is always going to be the absolute best, and then word of mouth, and then pay for play services depending on what you use. But Thumbtack is my most common service.
Yeah, I think that most people find me by just looking for notary near me on Google. It is advertised on my website that I do marriages. It's probably a little misleading though, because I got on there like that I'll do like weddings, and I don't want to do weddings. Reggie does weddings, like bride come down the aisle, they play the music type of wedding. Me, I just want to show up at your house, at the parking lot, at wherever, and just do a quick like I don't want to do the whole wedding. I'm just not there yet. And I'll get it for you, Melissa. Give me 1 second. And so, Sammy, you said that you checked and said you can't do wedding officiant. I just Googled it. You can do it. You can marry people if you are ordained in the state of Texas. So you can be ordained. And like I said, as soon as I typed it in, it says a licensed or ordained minister, priest, or rabbi, justice of the peace. Most judges can marry couples. And so that American Marriage Ministries came up, as well as Universal Life Church came up for ordination. So you can do it if you're ordained. Melissa, I just put the link in there. Oh, you must have posted that. I don't know if they can click the links, Berjo, in the thing. So I don't know. So I just posted a link. Here we go. I'm gonna share it. Here is the link here. I'm not sure if it's like clickable from the live chat. It should be. It looks like it is on the YouTube. I'm looking from there. So it should be clickable from there. So go ahead and hold on. Who am I watching? I'm watching it from your page.
So I shared a link.
Shout out to Linda, by the way, Linda Evans. Appreciate you and that layup that you gave Carlos for the Spanish couple. Thank you so much.
Hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. I shared a link to Sammy 1970-ish. She was saying that can't be a wedding officiant in Texas, but no, a notary can't, but you need something else other than notary. If you become ordained, you can become an officiant in your state. So don't just get stuck on the notaries can't do it. No, notaries can't do it in every state, but an ordained minister can do it in 48 of the states.
Yeah, you must not be able to hear us because I just said that.
You may want to look into that.
Can you hear us, Berjo? I don't think she can hear us.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, because your camera, your internet is going in and out. Yeah, you keep freezing. You keep freezing. So, I don't know how do we see people if they come into I guess they'll show up, huh? At the bottom.
Yeah, they'll pop up at the bottom, and we'll be able to bring them on stage.
Okay. Yeah, so I think it does take you out of the live chat in order to come into the it's going to take you off of YouTube because we're streaming through StreamYard.
Mhm.
So it will take you off of YouTube in order for you to join the actual live. So if you want to join the live, you do have to click the link. Here's the link here again, and it will bring you into the live. So make sure that you're liking the video. The video is being shared wherever you're watching the video. There's Melissa.
Yeah.
Make sure that you are sharing the live. Wait a minute. Hide that. All right, let's bring Melissa in. Boom. Hey, Melissa, you're live.
Hey.
I know you do weddings. So Melissa is a notary that is in my same area. So her and I are fishing in the same pond over here.
It's a big pond though, girl. It's a big pond.
It's a big pond because I almost threw that wedding to Reggie this morning. I didn't think about you this morning. I could have threw it to you because I was like,
You need what?
So how's weddings going for you, Melissa? What do you have to add?
It has. I don't know what all you guys went over. I just got in and was getting situated from a wedding. It seems like I've had a wedding every week for at least the past 6 or 7 weeks in a row. It's been pretty consistent. So I love them. It's one of my favorite notary things to do.
I would agree. I would absolutely agree. It has become one of my most favorite things, and it's addicting to me, so much so that my husband also is a officiant as well. He did it. He's done 2 weddings. He did his first wedding with a friend, and then his second wedding was the day before we went on a cruise. So he has been bitten by the bug, and he only wants to do Spanish.
Yeah, he's bilingual. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, you guys cover an amazing demographic. Like you could really do great things with that.
Yeah. Yep. He's bilingual. So I think that's cool. So, if we ever get bilingual, requests, we're throwing them to Carlos so he can do it.
He enjoys doing it. He enjoys doing it. It's so interesting because at first he was like, no. He was like an adamant hard no. And then it just, after a while he was like, I'll do it. And he did it, and it's like second nature. He said that I didn't get a chance to go to his last wedding, but he says I make him nervous when I go with him, and I'm like, come on, but I understand why,
because you were kind of his mentor into getting into this, so probably feels like he's gonna get sent to the office if he
I hope not.
That's how I feel when Bergeau witnesses my runs.
Oh yeah, Bergeau, yeah.
I feel like she's the teacher sometimes, and she's like, you didn't read that part of the script. And it's like, oops. That's how I feel when she does that. So Melissa, how do you mainly get your leads for weddings? Is it through Google, or are you on Thumbtack or somewhere else? How are you getting
I am not on Thumbtack. I started to set up an account, but then we started moving and that became a whole nother disaster that I had to deal with. So that's something I'm going to look at probably. It's on my goal list for next year of one of the things that I want to consider and at least try it out. I do have Google. My Google page, my website, which I'm almost done rebuilding. So I have a lot of things on there for that. Word of mouth is, a big thing.
That's really good.
Yeah. When you get, recommendations, and where we are, I don't know, Reggie, where you are, but like a lot of our communities, like they're gated communities, and we each have our own neighborhood Facebook page and things like that.
Okay.
So, I always, when I mentor people and I'm teaching young notaries, they're like, well, where do I start? I'm like, you start at your front door, because the closest you can go make your money, the better.
That's true.
So
And
That's true.
Bergeau,
You,
are you frozen, Bergeau?
she looks like it.
Yeah, I think she's frozen. But I was
Either
gonna
that
say
or
she
she's a
uses the
mannequin.
Nextdoor app a lot. And I've tried the Nextdoor app. I wanted you to talk about the Nextdoor app because she was saying you should maybe go out and come back in. Maybe
She
She
just
did.
moved,
yeah,
but now
see.
she's out again.
wonder
But
if
I did put up a thing on Nextdoor. I didn't do any of like the paid advertising or anything like that, but I did at least build that page. I haven't pushed a lot of stuff on there because I got on there, but it seemed like a lot of just gossip and neighborhood drama stuff. So I backed away from that a little bit.
Yeah, I was on our neighborhood page because I removed myself some time ago because there was some drama going on and I can't get back on. I can't see it to get back on. So I guess they have it marked where if you remove yourself, you can't come back. But we have like some little sub pages in our community, like for our specific village.
Subdivisions and stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
Better now. Yeah. And Reggie lives in Orlando, by the way. And
Yes.
Bergeau is all the way down in Coconut Creek. So we got a wide spread here. Bergeau, I wanted you to talk about the Nextdoor app because Melissa was saying you started your own front door when you're advertising. And so I wanted you to talk about how you advertise on the Nextdoor app.
Yeah, so my focus when I'm advertising and marketing is to focus on my community because that is where you're going to get the most business. And you want people in your neighborhood to know that they have a notary in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So what happened was in the beginning, I had downloaded the app and I had created my login and I started advertising and somebody in charge of the people in the community, all my posts. And I didn't know
Your internet works any other time.
Yeah.
Your internet's still
She's frozen for me. Is she for you guys too?
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, Rich, like your neighborhood community thing, if you have a school within a few miles of your house, go to the office, drop off some cards because they're constantly going to have people coming in for new school registrations, for medical forms. If they have like any events for the teachers, host a little thing, go take some, donuts, whatever, gift cards for the teachers, introduce yourself, get to know the coaches because the coaches need their sports physicals and all those forms notarized. Think about every little business and what they need that you can provide. And all of those things typically from your neighborhood to those schools within your neighborhood. And then those people who have children in that neighborhood, then it cycles out. Your web just grows because then they go to work or they go home and they meet more people. And then the neighbor that moves in next to them says, oh, we need this stuff notarized. Do you know where we go? Like, whatever.
Yep.
Car magnets is a big thing. Yep. I have my car magnets up, and on Veterans Day, I was out running around doing some stuff, getting on my free stuff because I'm a veteran.
Oh,
so I pull up, I'm at a stoplight and my phone rings and this guy says, hey, I don't mean to be creepy, but I'm at the light next to you.
That is
and I'm like, hey. And he was like, I have some papers in my car. I got a new job and I have to fill out this paperwork. It was like job verification stuff that he had to put his photos on this paper and it had to be verified for his ID badge and all this kind of stuff. So he was like, the banks are closed. I didn't know it was a holiday. He was like, can I follow you to your office? And I'm like, well, let's just pull over, wherever we can at the safest place. So we ended up pulling into the Waffle House parking lot right up the street. And I'm like, well, this is a first. But if I wouldn't have had that car magnet, I would have lost out on that money. And he would have been stressed out trying to find how to get this done. And he needed it done. And it was just perfect timing. Car magnet, cell phone, connection. Within 5 minutes, we were pulled over. He was notarized. I got my money. And he got his form done. And everybody was happy.
And that's another, I was going to say, that's why it's important to have your stamp on you.
Always.
So I have a stamp in my glove box, but I actually pulled it out today, so I got to put it back. But yeah, so we'll hope Berjo. Oh, these dang on things. So somebody on Facebook said they're gonna send all their Spanish-speaking people to.
Yeah, that's Linda.
That's Linda. But yeah, make sure you reach out if you do have a Spanish-speaking. Look, we're getting rhymes all over the place today.
Yeah, that's Linda.
Yeah. Oh, that's Linda. Okay.
Linda Evans.
Oh, look at that.
But Reggie, Ayana, you don't want to do the notary. You don't want to do the weddings.
So, not really. And I was talking to my husband about it because I was trying to analyze, like, why don't I want to do the weddings? One of the reasons why I don't want to do them like in a formal ceremony capacity is because I don't like wearing dresses. I don't like dressing up for the most part, and I don't want to be looked at. So that's like the biggest thing. I think over time I'll get over that. But what's better now you got on your phone? Yeah. So I think I just don't want to do that. But the second reason is I'm a big empath and I cry at the drop of anything. And so today, when we were doing we were outside on their patio in front of the pool doing the wedding. But when we're heading out, the lady goes, he wrote some vows, but don't worry about it. He doesn't have to read them. I'm like, he reading them. You're going to have them. We're going to read those vows, girl. You better get everything he's telling you. And so I went through the script, and then I got to the part where I asked him, did he want to read it? And when this man read these vows, I was like tearing up, like, oh my God, like, stop, please stop. I was like, oh my gosh, like, I can't hold it together. And so that was another thing that I was just like, I just would not be able to hold it together. When I see a bride walking down the aisle, like, I would just not be able to hold it together at all.
Okay, can y'all hear me now?
Yeah,
yes, we can.
Yeah, talk about the next door. Go back.
Okay, so I signed up for Nextdoor, created my page. I started posting stuff about my business, and they actually have people who are in charge of each community on there. The guy, which I didn't know, he was removing all my posts. And so he inboxed me and was like, I thought that you would have got the hint by now. You cannot post business stuff on your personal page. You have to have a business page. And I'm like, okay, well, rude, but sorry. I'm new to the app. I didn't know that I can create a business page. That's why I was posting on my personal. And so he's like, being rude more. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. So I went on to create a business page. And so he's like,
I'm so sorry.
Huh?
Nothing. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I created the business page, and it allows you to share in your community or share in other communities. Like it gave you the option to share in different communities. So like you can reach so many people, and it's free. It's free. You can post twice a month for free. If you post more than that, you have to actually pay for the ads or whatever. And so I started posting there just like I post on my Google business profile page, and people were reaching out to me. And I've actually had several neighbors who continue to use me. And just recently, a lady was looking for a notary, and a couple of people I know, and I've never done any notary work for them, but they've seen my posts and they're like, our neighbor Berjo does notary. And I'm like, well, how about that? I got people sharing my information. I've never even serviced them before.
Yeah.
So it does make a difference if you advertise locally in your community versus just trying to advertise everywhere. Like, you just need to make your reach small, and then it will spread, because people will spread it for you. You don't even have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So Nextdoor is super easy, just like Google Business, if you use it right.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
That a whole Facebook page, your neighborhood Facebook page, that's something that I'm going to take, because I never even thought to do that. So
yeah, Nextdoor, a lot of people are on Nextdoor. It does get messy because you see a lot of different people go back and forth. Some people have time.
Melissa said. It's a lot
some people have time to just go on there and bother people. They really do. And it's really unfortunate. But I don't let that deter me from posting on my business page, because even in the midst of all the chaos, as you can see, my neighbor still got my back.
That's true. Yeah, Reggie, look for your like your community where you live, that page, and then look for your city. Look for that page too. I think this is Linda, right?
True.
Said she did a estate planning today from a referral from Nextdoor.
I did a closing. I did a closing for a property in a different state off of Nextdoor. Somebody just called me and had me come to their house and do a closing. So yeah. So you gotta, the thing is, people get deterred because they use platforms and they don't get any feedback, but it's not designed that way. You're not marketing so people can call you all day, every day. You're marketing because you want people to know when they need your services, you're the top of mind. Right. That's what you're doing. You're trying to make sure that you're a familiar name, a familiar face. I have people tell me all the time, if it wasn't for the fact that your name was so unique, I probably wouldn't remember you. Everybody remembers me because of my name, you know, and so that works for me.
Yep.
You know, so I continue to advertise on all platforms every day. I mostly really focus on those community ones, because the community ones are the big game changers.
I agree. I get a lot of and our master community is like 3 miles down. So I get signings, at the front, up at the front or anywhere in between. So yeah, you definitely want to be creating relationships locally for all those kinds of things. And I think weddings, going back to weddings, I think we're kind of like all the way over here. But going back to weddings, I think weddings definitely in this time and day are one of the more recession-proof type of things that we could be doing as a notary. Just because people are always going to get married. They're always going to want to get married, whether they can afford an elaborate wedding or not. People still want to get married, and they may have a hot $50, $75 or whatever, $100, whatever your minimum is to just do a basic elopement. They're going to have that for, in order to get married. So I think a lot of notaries, I'm still seeing a lot of loan signing agents still stuck on loan signing. And it's a dwindling market. I still do loan signings. We all still do loan signings. I know Reggie and Bergeau still do. We all still do loan signings, but they're few and far in between. So if you want to keep your business relevant, you have to look at other sources in order to bring that in. And I think weddings is like one of the more perfect things. And I remember when Reggie first started doing weddings, he was still kind of hell bent on running himself ragged with the loan signings and the weddings. And I'm like, dude, you are in a perfect lane. Like, you're perfect for it. You're good at it. You look good doing it. Like, ride that lane, and build a name for yourself right there in that lane instead of, trying to do everything,
I agree. Reggie's energy is so amazing for those. Loan signings don't deserve it. Loan signings don't deserve your energy.
I agree.
They don't.
I coached a girl not too long ago, and we were talking we had this whole conversation about her starting loan signing. And like at the end, she goes, I really want to do weddings. And I have all these ideas about doing weddings. And I'm like, wait. Stop. Throw away everything I just said to you. Just do weddings. Like, what are you talking about? And she's like, well, I want to get started here. And I'm like, why? Like, do what you like to do. Like, if you really would love to do that, do it. Like, why are you trying to start somewhere else when this is what you really want to do? And she was just like, really? And she thought like, well, I need the arch and I need the flowers. I'm like, honey,
you don't need all that.
People will call you. I literally met them people outside the crate at the Grove.
Like, she needs a.
I literally married people in my living room.
Yeah, she married people in her living room. Reggie married people at the Disney World parking lot.
Sure did.
Like, you don't need anything
Don't need all that.
to get started. Just start. Like, just start. Like,
and the other stuff will come. You want to use the money that you make doing the weddings to purchase all that other stuff.
Yep. Somebody said, hey, we don't know who you are because you're coming from Facebook and we can't see your name. So,
ooh, my ear itching.
Say your name. Reggie.
Huh?
What you doing?
I actually just got a signing as y'all were talking.
Look at you over there on the money phone. Phone.
I just got a signing.
Money phone. That's what we call it when we're talking. We hear each other phone.
Money phone.
That's the money phone.
And to be honest, with talking with these two, Melissa, let me tell you the truth. I think this is God's, and I told them this yesterday. I said, I feel like God be blessing them so much that he be like, I can't get her everything. Reggie, here go you a loan signing. Reggie, here you go a notary assignment. And I'm just like, thank you. I appreciate it. I'll take it.
He played too much. He absolutely does well and is doing well, is killing the weddings. Because the I think you too, Melissa, the thing we all four have in common is we all work full time. So
right. Yeah.
The fact that, we set our goals and we all encourage each other to smash them like every month, even though this month your girl ain't looking so hot, but that's okay. That's okay.
There's not a lot of business days this month though. So not an excuse. That's just a fact. There are not as many business days in November.
That's true.
So
that's true.
So guys, Shanice was asking, she said that she's late, but she was asking, how do we get bookings as a notary efficient? How do we market and promote ourselves?
So we talked about it a little bit, Shanice. So everybody kind of does something different. Reggie,
good night, Sammy. First? Thank you.
Oh, Sammy's from your page.
So
bye,
Sammy. Shanice, I remember when I first started, I kind of had that same issue too. And you're doing all the right things. I actually follow Shanice. We all do follow Shanice, and you're doing all the right things. You know what I'm saying? You are not doing what you're supposed to do, or it just takes time. That's the only thing about this business. It takes time. And one day your phone just gonna come on the call ID, gonna be a name you ain't never seen before. And you're gonna be like, hey,
Shanice,
money phone.
Focus on your community.
Yeah,
I could be there, doing marketing.
I could be there in 10 minutes.
Focus on your community for marketing.
I'm on my way. Yep.
Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, they're cool, but that's too big of an audience for you to try to get business. You want to focus on local marketing, Alignable, LinkedIn, Google, and Nextdoor.
And Facebook only for your community pages on Facebook. Yeah. So Facebook is broad. Just make it smaller. Make your circle smaller on Facebook by going to your community pages. Like if you live in an HOA, go to those pages. If you live in, like Wesley Chapel has a Facebook page. I don't advertise there, but every now and again, I'll see someone say, "Does anybody know a notary?" And I've actually gotten business from that way. I've actually got business one time. Someone said, "Do you know where I can find a venue for a wedding?" And I'm like, I ain't got no venue, but I can go. And here I am, like, I can marry you.
Right. That's the perfect plug.
Yeah, but but those types of places, definitely start there. Definitely
you
start
also have
locally
to
in your community.
Go out in person. What flower shop is close to your house? What
wedding dress
dress
shop.
place? Even like consignment shops where women come in to look for used dresses because they're not looking to have a huge wedding. They're looking to do things on a budget. Not to step on Reggie's shoes, but go to areas where people frequent places where they wouldn't go to their pastor or their house of worship because they wouldn't necessarily be welcomed to get married there. Focus on things outside of the box as well. What do you have a common connection with in your community? Make those connections because those are your people. That's who's going to send you business. That's who is going to recommend you.
Yep, that's
absolutely.
True. Did you say Bruce Leroy?
Yes, Bruce Leroy. That's why I put it up there. Like, what's up, Bruce Leroy?
That's actually my guy. That's my
10th
guy.
Mountain Division too, huh?
Yeah, that's oh yeah. So you were in the Army?
Yes.
Yeah.
What
she
branch?
just said she was a
Army.
You missed it.
Oh no. Where were you stationed? I meant.
Oh, I was all over the place. I just saw 10th Mountain Patch pop up there, and that's why I looked, and then I said, "Wait, that's Bruce Leroy."
Yeah, he just retired. That guy.
Oh well, congratulations.
Yeah, he just retired.
We got 2 Army folks. Were you Army too, right, Reggie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have any? I think a couple more people wanted to jump on. I think
I don't see them in the back. I don't see them in the no.
Okay.
Maybe post the link again.
Okay.
And then see if anybody else wants to come on before we hop off.
Well, let's look at 2 and see if anybody's interested in doing live training. Reggie, we could come to Orlando, and Reggie, you could come here, and we could do another live wedding officiant training for notaries that want to learn more about it. I already have the curriculum put together because I've taught it before.
I'm always down for a road trip. I'm always down for a road trip.
Reggie's always down. Yeah.
And
Carlos, one of these sessions we'll talk about, I know for a fact we're going to cover social media because that's Bergeau's wheelhouse. So we wanted to start doing these live so that we can talk about, just more things in the notary community. And then I'll come back and talk all about Ron because I've kind of like put myself in that lane and just been doing very well in the Ron lane. And I enjoy it because why? I don't have to go anywhere. I still like doing loan signings because I love to look at the houses in Wesley Chapel. So
right.
I like to see everybody's house, how everybody's house is decorated because I don't have those kinds of skills. Regardless to me being crafty, I don't know how to decorate.
We got a couple questions.
Yeah, here's a question. What's the best part about being a notary?
Oh man, meeting people. I love meeting people.
I'll go back to it.
I'm from Detroit. I'm not from Florida. And ever since I moved here, I've worked from home. So I don't get a chance to go out. I don't get a chance to meet people. So when I became a notary, I was able to meet people. So I'm always excited. Like when I see somewhere and I Google and see where it's at, I'm like, oh, I've never been over there before. I can't wait to go over there. And then even when I talk to the person for the first time, let them, to confirm any details that I need them to have ready when I get there. They're always so excited to hear from me. I'm excited to talk to them. I can't wait to see you,
And she is not exaggerating on that excitement. Like she is like super excited. Me, I love meeting people. I think the best part of being a notary for me is the same thing. I think it's the ability to help people, and to, I guess, I don't know about meeting people, but I like that sense of being able to.
We got a Detroiter.
Hey, 3 Detroiters. I'm a Detroiter too. So I like that that facet of helping people. I haven't gotten anything from the nursing home though, Melissa. I think someone stole them, but
I haven't been over there either since we moved.
I haven't heard anything from over there. I went there and but I think they have someone new at the front desk. So I don't think they're passing out the cards anymore. But I'm gonna reach out over there and see what's going on.
Somebody asked for Reggie to answer a question.
Yeah, I see that one. Reggie, what do you say during weddings? I want to hear him now. Since you guys spoke so. Oh, she wants to hear your whole script. He makes videos. Aren't there videos on your
I do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a taste.
Oh gosh, here we go. Dearly beloved.
No, I'm not gonna be extra.
We're gathered here today to celebrate this thing called life.
Oh my God. I don't even want to. That was horrible.
That was Prince. You don't say Prince was horrible.
No. The situation, not Prince. Prince is amazing. So one of the ones that I did was, and I kind of created a little bit, but I always start with welcoming people. I'm not like heavily religious myself. And that typically is a question that I ask. Do we want mention of God or no mention of God? Or do we want it kind of speckled in between? And that's kind of the case. So this particular person wanted a mention of God. So I say, welcome friends and family. We are gathered here today to celebrate the lovely union of so-and-so and so-and-so. Thank you for being here. Today, we get to enjoy the outwardly celebration of their love on this day. So-and-so and so-and-so, as we celebrate your love.
Groom and bride, silly.
Well, that too. Look among the crowd and see some of the smiling faces. Also in spirit, they had people who had passed on. I'll ask questions before I get there. I like to get there like 30 minutes to 45 minutes before and see if they have anybody there that needs to be recognized, whether it's someone that's passed on, grandmother, uncle, aunt, whoever the case may be. And I typically, when I'm welcoming and thanking people for being there, I'll say that they're smiling down on us, watching as we speak. And then the next section is a question who give this pride away. Since we are in not traditional times, but contemporary times, a lot of people don't really like that question. So it's always a question, who's giving someone away, right? So you don't want to just assume going from, digging from the Old Testament, thinking that that's how you're going to fire and brimstone, because a lot of people don't like that. And then I typically will ask the client a little bit about their story. If they don't give me much, then they ain't going to get much. It's going to be a line, right? But that has to be done in the consultation. If they're not giving you much, it's almost like pulling teeth. And the only thing you can do is infer, but you want to make sure the client is happy. And I actually send them a copy of the scripts I do prior to. I don't just assume. And then some people like to hold that like proprietary information, but it's their wedding day. So for me, it's like, I can create another one. It's not a big deal. And then after that, we go into, talking about marriage, what commitment it makes. And, it's going to be good and bad. This is a big decision. Friends and family are also going to be a part of that union. If they're not invested in this union, then it's going to be difficult for you. I don't really say that, but I just say,
I was going to say, dang.
Everybody here is invested. We're going to need a village. And, the rest of it is just the vows. If they created their own, then I make space for them to say it. If they didn't, then they'll repeat after me. And then we have the ring exchange. And I always give them instructions on how the ring exchange goes. Like, okay, so what I'm going to do, so-and-so, I'm going to say this, and you'll repeat after me, and then you'll put the ring on. Because if you don't, you'll have this awkward moment where they both trying to put the ring on at the same time. It's like, what's happening? Can y'all, and then after that, I after we do the ring exchange, I pronounce them husband and wife. I actually had my first gay ceremony, which you would think I would get more often because I'm openly gay. But I had my first ceremony, and that was probably one of the best experiences that I had ever had. I hadn't done anything like that in the 20-something ceremonies at that time. to do. So it was as you say, you get overwhelmed. I do too. Even there,
I can't hold it back.
it's difficult because sometimes I do cry. You know what I'm saying? And it's just more like discreetly, like where I do the, with the drink,
Like,
like that. And that the idea isn't to be set from them. You're human just like they are. So yeah, it will hit you. And it will be at some of the most inopportune time. It can be something as small as this. It was one wedding I had where they had the kids say a poem. And then at some point during the poem, or not during the poem, but during the ceremony, he started to cry.
Oh.
And I swear there wasn't a dry eye in that. Even Carlos was back there like, and I'm like, you're supposed to be holding the camera, okay?
Camera going on like this.
But in those moments you can't control. And to summarize what you were saying, Melissa, a lot of times, and I say this, because I think, and I'm not being critical, I'm trying not to be critical when I say this, but the church has a lot more to do, especially if people, during the pandemic, we couldn't go to church, right? So that was the thing.
Right.
Now we know that God is wherever we are. So we don't need that anymore. So they're going to have to do more than just being a place on the corner for people to congregate at, right? So that's why we're starting to see people choose Melissa, because Melissa looks like me. That's why you see people choose, because Reggie looks like me. Virgil looks like me. Ayana looks like me. So I feel more comfortable going to these guys who just could be just looking for a tick on their page, doing it because they represent who I am for whatever reason. So we have to understand the weight and the seriousness behind what we do, and understand that it does come with a higher purpose, and that, for me, it's an honor every single time. It is a straight up honor. And I don't know what I was doing the rest of the 41 years of my life before, but today it has purpose, and I'm thankful for that.
Well, all right.
Somebody asked this question.
Yeah, 100% true said, do you ever wonder where the couples ended up? I don't think we've been doing it long enough for somebody to get divorced yet.
No. I mean, my oldest couple is now 3 months old, so actually going into 4 months. So I text them. I text them a couple days ago to wish them happy holidays. They didn't respond. But I do see them on social media because they follow me.
Okay.
So they're happy. They're a cute couple, but I hadn't had anybody that I've married that has been like, well, no, that's one where it's like, I don't think.
I think I told you before, Ayana,
I don't
about
think it's gonna work.
Like some of the weird intake calls.
Oh yeah, you told me about that one you had.
When you're trying to get the information and give them information, because a lot of people call and they haven't even so much as gotten their license yet. They just know they want to get married and they want to have who's going to do it. So, that's another way to build that relationship and get the business, is to explain the process to them, where they need to go, what they need to have, the information that they need to have readily available for the marriage license application. Those simple things that we know, we just take for granted, like it's just common sense to us because we're in this realm. But a lot of people don't know this very basic stuff. They just know, hey, I either A, got engaged, or B, I want to get married and I want to know where, how, and I want to have this planned.
Yeah. And I think being a resource, when you are a resource, it creates trust,
right,
and confidence. And so you definitely want, even if they don't have everything together, you don't want to just throw them off and say, well, call me back when you get it together. You do want to go walk them through all of the steps and let them know these are the steps that you need to take. This is what you need to have. And when they get there and it just goes like butter, like it's just smooth, they're going to call you back and be like, man, you made that so easy for me. I'm ready to go ahead and do what I need to do. So,
and it's the same thing too. Like every area of notary work, all clients are not for you.
That's true.
You may not be a good match for these people. And it's up to you to recognize that, because I run my business like if I was playing dominoes. All money ain't good money. You know, it's just not. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to put myself in situations where I'm either A, uncomfortable, B, I feel like there's something else going on there or whatever. Like I told Ayana, I had this weird call one time. This lady kept calling and calling and calling, and she was like incessantly wanting to get married. And I explained the process to her. And then a couple weeks later, she checked back in and said, you know, they still hadn't gotten their license. So we scheduled a new date. And then I was checking up with her like the week before, and she was like, oh, he couldn't get off work. And so I started getting the vibe like she wants to get married. He's got every excuse in the book not to be able to even go get the license. Like he has no intentions of following through with this. And so I went ahead and scheduled another date. And I told her, I said, well, if this date doesn't work out, we're going to have to do a non-refundable deposit. Because at this point, I've scheduled you like 3 dates that haven't, you know, come to fruition, that we haven't done this. And I've lost out on other business and other things that I could have been doing this during this time.
Right.
So she tells me, I mean, quote unquote, he is going to marry me if I have to walk him down the aisle with a dog leash. And I said, oh no, ma'am, we're not doing this. We absolutely are not doing this.
A dog leash. I'm like, yeah, that might
Because
not be
that would mean, unless that's their thing, he was not there on his own free will, and he was not wanting to commit.
Not willing. He is not willing.
So no, I can't do this.
Yeah, we can't.
My ethical obligations say he has to verbally commit and want to be a participation.
Yeah, he wants to actively participate. Yeah, walking him down the aisle with a dog leash. He's not going to profit anybody anything. So.
No, wasn't happening.
Yeah, that's hilarious. That is hilarious. So let's see. We are at 9:12. We didn't make no time. Like we didn't say how long we were gonna be here.
Because we have people that have been interacting with us.
Yeah, we just want to just talk and have a random conversation.
Yeah, have random conversations.
Different things, marriage and notary, and answering questions that people ask us on a regular basis. Like we literally get questions all the time. It's just not enough time to answer in one video, but we definitely can work through it, you know, with other videos in the future.
But yeah, weddings are definitely my bread and butter, and it's something that I definitely want to continue to do because I'm a person who thrives on how I can be a service of others. So, you know, being a notary, I think someone asked that question earlier, what was the reason I decided to become a notary? And, you know, to be honest, a good friend of mine had actually got his notary and I got his notary commission. And I was actually following him because sometimes he does have a tendency to inform like good ideas and stuff like that. But I actually took one step further and decided to actually use it. And the really big pusher was the fact that I was going from a commission-based job because I've been in sales for a number of years and transitioned into this. So for me, it was like, I need to make up that money I'm not going to make, because your boy used to make money. I used to make 70, 80, 90,000 a year, you know, to go to something, you know, to where I am now. It was a big difference for me. And I had to find something that was gonna suffice. And then I also lost my mom too, and she really became the catalyst for me leaving a legacy behind. And you know, that's what I decided to create a business based around what can I leave, or how can I leave this world better than what I came in with. And this was one way of doing it. And you know, sometimes Ayana and Virgil know me as being an oversharer a lot. And one of I sent them a email that I actually sent to you
gonna share here?
No, not the entire thing, but to my therapist. And one of the things that it said was, I don't know why this, because I've always been called the jack of all trades, master of none. I've always been called that, but I think I'm coming into it being me being a multi-hyphenate, as opposed to just someone who does something until I get tired and then I do something else. So It's an honor for me. So when people call, it's really like, how can I really go above and beyond rather than just doing it as a money grab like some of our other counterparts might have starting in becoming a notary.
So Dolores just came on. Hey, Dolores. Yes, we are going to do this again. When, we haven't decided yet. So
yeah, we got a couple.
I really like to do it on Thursdays, but I got 2 more book clubs that I got to get done with the book. So we're gonna try to find a convenient day for those 2, for the next 2, and then we're gonna move it to Thursdays. So, and they got me up at 9:15. Thank God I have to go to work tomorrow because I'd already be in the bed. They would tell you that I would already be in the bed by now. So,
yeah, it's bedtime.
Yeah, I would already be in the bed. But yeah, I don't know. I think we've pretty much covered everything. Make sure that you like the video wherever you are watching the video. Make sure you like the video. That way the algorithm shows it to more people. Make sure you share the video if you liked the video. Here's a question. Do you sometimes regret not being a marriage notary earlier?
No.
Yeah, no.
Mm-mm. Nope. It came right on time.
Yeah. No, I would say no. I think it's just a part of everything else that you do. There's just so many things that you can do in the state of Florida as a notary. Not speaking for other states, but in the state of Florida, there's just so many things that you can do. And we're finding out new things every day, like the translation services and proctoring tests. And, we're just finding things every day that that people trust notaries to do because we're already public officials. And a lot of times we've already been vetted by, with the background check and all of those things. And so they trust notaries to take care of certain things. So
right.
I don't think we regret anything. I think it's just a natural progression. Melissa, how long have you been in the business?
I've been a notary in Florida for 16 years.
Yeah.
I've done weddings all throughout that time.
Okay.
But I've definitely done a lot more over the past, since COVID.
Okay.
Like Reggie was saying, when a lot of places, when all of those Cinderella wedding events came to a screeching halt and they still wanted to get married and it was in their living room or, wherever it needed to happen. And since then, everything has shifted. I see more people wanting a very simplified ceremony, even if it's just the 2 of them at home, or maybe a few friends, rather than a lot of big weddings or having a small intimate ceremony and then just having a reception kind of thing. And I've had several lately that were doing big or doing their wedding internationally, but they wanted all the legalities of it taken care of already. I had one where they did write a little bit of vows to each other, and he said, "I'm gaining a beautiful wife and you're gaining health insurance."
Oh, wow.
But we were in their kitchen, and he was a funny guy,
yeah,
and he was just saying my wife is beautiful, I don't deserve this kind of thing. Was his whole vow to her, was putting her on a pedestal, but it's just cute, when it's just the 2 of them and it's really what it's about, their commitment to one another, no matter where it's at or how big it is, it's about them. And even if it is just the 2 of them in their living room, our role is still to make an impact in that moment and make them feel special in that commitment that they're making.
100% True says you're the godmother in this field with 16 years. And going back up, influencing you. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you for stopping by and watching. And then will we change careers if an opportunity arises, or is this long term? Again, all 4 of us work full time in a career, in a profession. This is a business that we do part time. I call myself a part timepreneur. I don't use the word hustle or grind or side side business, or I don't know. I like to call myself a part-time preneur, but my career is in affordable housing. And the reason why, my why for having a notary business is that when I retire from affordable housing, this business will be what keeps me busy. And so I'm building it now. I'm building relationships now, and that way it'll carry me into the years where I just want to dibble and dabble, and I already have it going instead of starting it then. So I'll already have the relationships and the knowledge and everything I need to keep going then now. So let's see. Dolores says, I'm a new notary. Can you make a living off a notary? I was licensed in August, but never used it. I'm really unsure how or where to proceed. I did find your site. By trade, I'm an RN. Who wants to answer that?
I would say this.
Go,
That
Reggie.
makes a difference.
I will say this, Dolores. My recommendation is to at least recoup what you've spent in terms of becoming a notary. You've already spent that money. You know, at this point, it's not a lot of people get discouraged in this business because they want a quick return on investment. But it's like anything else you do. It doesn't happen. Like you had to go to school for being a nurse, right? Going into nursery. You had to go to college. You did become a master's degree. It didn't just happen overnight. So it takes blood, sweat, and tears. And, you know, since you've made that commitment at this point, the best thing to do is to see it through. And it becomes something that you add in addition to, use that as vacation money or whatever you decide you want to use it for. But don't give up just yet, because you haven't even stamped your first thing yet.
Yeah.
You know?
And I would add that, are there notaries doing this full time? Absolutely. There are. So can you make a living off of it? You can.
Mm-hmm.
But this business is just like every other business. Whether you're running a doctor's office, an attorney's office,
beauty salon,
beauty salon, like beautician, this business is just like every other business. What you get out of it is directly impacted by what you put
into it.
And
exactly,
you have to do the work, no matter what business you're in. And
Mm-hmm.
if you want to make a living off of whatever business you're in, and then you put in the work to do that. You know, you put in the work to do that. So I would say, you know, it's not something that I am trying to do at this time, or maybe not ever. But like Reggie said, it's something that I do to kind of like supplement and do the fun stuff if I feel like doing fun stuff. So I don't know. What do you think, Bergeau?
What I will say is it is based on your location. You want to do heavy research in your area to see if it will be lucrative enough for you to pursue notary as your only employment, because every area does not afford you that capability. It just does not. And people, that's where they get confused. It's like you see all these videos, everybody's telling you to get rich quick, and they have not, but they're selling it because people will watch the video. And quite honestly, every location that people are becoming notaries is just not lucrative enough for that. You have some areas that's killing it. They're building new houses. People are selling their properties. People are retiring. People are relocating. And in certain areas that are very high in demand, the business is plentiful. It's plentiful. I live in an area that's plentiful. But I too, like Ayana, I'm not going to be doing this full time. This is my side business. I do it part time. I turn down business, honestly, all the time, because it's just, you know, but what does it take to excel in this field?
Blood, sweat, and tears.
You gotta work.
You
blood, sweat, and tears.
You gotta work hard. So Dolores, if it's something that you want to do, research in your area first. Okay. If your area is not booming, then maybe no, would be the answer to your question. Can you still do it part-time? Like Reggie said, absolutely. I do it part-time. I make a good amount of money doing it part-time. And what do I use it for? To go out, or buy me some things I wanted, it's extra income, and so I don't have to use my paycheck to have fun. I use my notary money to have fun.
Yeah. Melissa, anything you want to add, Melissa, to that?
I was going to say, Dolores, with your connections, if I were in your shoes, I would go to your HR office, one, and ask if there's any conflict of you being an employee of that hospital or facility, if you can notarize, and that you don't create any conflict for your real job. Two, if there is no conflict, you have a built-in revenue source. You need to tell every nurse you work with on every shift, mention it to every doctor in every meeting you're in. Oh, by the way, if you have a patient that needs documents, powers of attorney or their life support forms or whatever notarized, then you have a built-in revenue stream. Now, you can't pull it out of your scrubs and be stamping it while you're on the clock. I'm sure the hospital would have a problem with that. But after your shift or on your days off, you could be right back at that hospital with a built-in referral source right there. So use what you got to get what you want.
Facts. I got a call from the hospital earlier today for an adoption.
$1 bill.
Yep. So, yeah, that's it. I want to share my calculator, guys. So
yes, I saw you post about it. Tell me about this.
Oh, I will tell you all about it. So someone asked me, how do we calculate our fees? How do I calculate my fees? And I came up with this video and I talked about how I calculate my fees. And then I was like, I want to make a calculator that calculates the fees. And so I'll share it with you. Let's see. Boom, there it is. So this is the calculator that I created to calculate fees. And I will say it works. Reggie can vouch that it works. Bergeau can vouch that it works. And a couple other people can vouch that it works too. But the reason why I like the calculator is because it at least gives you a baseline for, and wait, let me not post that one because my address is on that one. Let's go to this one. It at least gives you a baseline for what was I going to say, for what you're charging. And if you should happen to feel like you're like undercharging yourself or not charging enough, this will kind of keep you on track to let you know like you're okay with what you're charging. And I will say that I may not charge exactly what comes up on the calculator, but at least I know that I'm not shortchanging myself. So I created a calculator for each individual. So you got mobile, online, weddings, and apostilles. If you do those, I don't do many of those. I know Bergeau does a lot of them because in South Florida, there's, more of that community down there. I don't do very many, but if you go here, you can input what your max is for your state. In the state of Florida, a max per stamp is $10. IRS mileage is 62.5 cents. The hourly rate, I took this kind of off of the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics. It's just kind of an average. And then I kind of went below the average. I think the average is like 24, 26. And I just felt like, I thought that was too high in my opinion. So I put it down to like around 18. Like, this is what I want to make an hour. Okay. So you can change these. Witness fees, additional signer, print and scan fees. And basically you can enter an address. Let's see if I can come up with one. I can never spell Zephyr Hill. That ain't it. And it will calculate, let's say Starbucks on Brooksby Downs. And so you don't have to actually put an address. This information pulls from Google Maps. And so it's already built in. So any of the areas that are green, you can fill in. It automatically gives you the miles and it gives you the time to get there. And so then all you do is use input what you need. So if you're doing one stamp, no witnesses, no additional signers, you're going to input your travel miles. It'll automatically double it for you, make it round trip. You put in your time, it'll automatically calculate that round trip. And then here's the part where I think we were all shortchanging ourselves. We were not charging for our appointment time or our expertise. And so I build in, like, let's just say if it's one step, maybe 15 minutes, or you can say 30 minutes. And then this is the amount that you would make just for your expertise. And so for assigning that, this number of miles, that number of time, it'll be $51. I kind of always round it down to 50, or I round to the nearest 10. I hate odd numbers like that. Nearest 5, I would say. So like I said, we found this to work pretty well. It works for online. The max in Florida is 25. And then I always charge 10 for additional stamps and everything else. And then the platform fee is there as well. That's an area that I think we always underestimate too. I know I do. A lot of times I'll put in what it cost me, which is $13, but I'll forget that they charge $5 for each additional signer, and I'll have 2 witnesses, and so that may be $28. So instead of like a signing I just did the other day, it had $28. And for online signings, I automatically charge for 60 minutes of my time because I call the signer before the appointment and I walk them through on how to get online. So this is either going to be 60 to 90 minutes. So, and then you can see what that rate would be. And then weddings is the same. I had this changed to 70 because Reggie's bottom, his lowest package is $100, his starting rate. And so you can do the same thing here. Put in the address, put in the number of stamps, the miles, and come up with a number. And then the same thing with apostilles. It just has the print fee, the scan fee. So we've been playing with this now for a couple of weeks. And it's worked out great for us. It's worked out just fine for us. And I think that so far, I haven't had one person say, no, I'm not paying that. In fact, I had an attorney tell me, is that all you're charging? Before I got the calculator, he was like, oh, your fee is really low. Like, are you sure that's it? And I'm like, I'm sure. He's like, are you charging me for the time it takes for you to do it? And I'm like, dang, I never really thought about that. So
you know why? Attorneys, that's all they have to sell is their time.
Their time, yeah.
That's it. They don't sell widgets. They don't have stuff. That's what they sell is their time and their expertise.
And he asked me, like, are you building in your time? And I was just like, no. So I went back and created the calculator. It is on my website, ayanalugo.com, and you can get it there. I think it's a big help. It's I put a lot into it. I actually did it all on here, changed it to a different platform, and then changed it back. So I put a lot into it, and I think it works. I think it works fantastic. So
I like it.
Good job.
I had a customer today do the same thing. He was like, because when I got there, it should have been an easy, I do it and be gone. But there were some issues with the person signing, and then we needed to wait for a witness to come. And so he was like, please make sure you're charging me for your time. I'm so sorry. And I'm like, okay, calculator. Let's see how much time I need to put in here. Okay, this is going to be. So it was a $50 job. It ended up being $90, and he was.
And the wedding I did this morning was 80, and she pushed it out like by an hour. She was like, "Charge me for the hour for the entire." So I charged it.
And if it wasn't for the calculator, I would have never known. Like, okay, charging for my time. How much am I charging? Like, I literally already had it known. Because I had worked it out on the calculator and already said to myself, okay, I want to make sure that my hourly rate is like $30 an hour. So if I break it down by the minute, I was able to charge from the time I got there to the time that I was done. And it calculated the time I put in by minutes and gave me a figure.
Yep. It definitely works on weddings too, for sure.
Yep. And I think, like I said, it takes, if nothing else, it takes that weight off your shoulders of whether or not you feel like you're charging what you should be charging.
Right.
And there's been times I've put it into the calculator and just talking to the person, I don't charge that. I might charge less.
Right.
And so, it's not etched in stone. You have to charge them that. And like a lot of your clients, or like my direct clients, I put one in and she was like, well, this is a probate, there's tight on money. I'm like, all right, well, I'll do the whole thing, for less than that, so, but then it came back. She was like, no, we'll just do it at the price you said. So I think it takes the guesswork out of second guessing what you're pricing. And as long as you know the base of what you should have gotten, I think you feel better.
Right.
You feel better.
Our customers pay attention to that. Your customers pay attention to whether or not you got it together. If you're sitting there and you don't even know what you want to charge,
and there's been plenty of times where I
so you should be able to have a baseline. You should already know what your numbers are. That's why I'm real big on posting my fees, because if I quote you a fee, I want you to be able to go and fact check it. You go right to my website. Oh, she do charge this. Oh, I should have looked. Yeah, that sounds about right. That's what she gave me. As opposed to, because some people now, they will do I'm going to call it today and see what it is, and then I'm going to call it next week. You mess around and get them a different price, they're going to know you full of shit.
Yeah, that's true.
So
TikTok said yesterday's price ain't today's price.
So it
just makes sense to have your numbers in order.
And if we closer to the date now, it ain't the same price. You should have got it last week then.
Hey, I got after hour fee on there, holiday fee. They
because
like, why is it more? Well, if you go on my website, you will see.
Because I feel like a fee
for that.
Because why you ask me to do this right now, fee?
Yeah. I just got out the shower fee.
Like I really don't want to do this, but you called me, so
but you call me and I'm gonna go come get this hot 50 fee.
Yeah. This I'm gonna do it, but I ain't gonna like it, fee.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. All right, guys. So I think that's it. That's good for our first
live.
Our first live. I guess Melissa is now a part of the Superior Notary crew.
Look at that.
So look for us again, maybe in about a week or so. Sometime next week we're gonna come back.
About a week ago.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be here for ad libs.
Yeah. We're just here for the TikTok ad lib. About a week ago. I almost wore my Disney ears to the wedding.
Cute.
I'm glad I didn't because it was country themed. So
they
were like all dressed like country themed.
Did you see my Halloween wedding reel?
No.
They were so cute. I did a Halloween wedding. I know we're wrapping up, but weddings. They wanted to get married on Halloween, and she found this little spooky dock over in Lando Lakes. It's like right outside of where we live. Okay. It was so cute. And she wore like spooky fishnets with her little dress. Okay. And then they had these masks that they put on for pictures, like decorative metal masks. Like his was black and hers was white. Look at my reel. I posted some pictures on my socials about it. They were so cute. That was probably the funnest wedding I've done so far.
So let's do this. So I'm Ayana, aka the Crafty Notary. You can find me on Facebook at the Crafty Notary. You can find me on Instagram at the Crafty Notary. You can find me on TikTok, but I ain't over there posting stuff. So people follow my main TikTok, and I'm like, this is my personal one. But I do have a TikTok as well, and I don't go on Twitter. So YouTube. YouTube at the Crafty Notary, and that is there for notary educational purposes only or solely. Reggie, shout out your socials and where people can find you.
My social media is Central Florida Notary on YouTube. I have so many different handles, and I'm just realizing that I probably should put it all together. But my my Facebook, Eternal Union Weddings, and Reggie's Mobile Notary, and my name is spelled uniquely Reggee. So Reggee, and I'm pretty sure if you put that in the search engine, it'll pop up because I'm the only one that spells it that way. So you can find me.
Bergeau.
I am the owner of BLE's Notary Services. It's on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Alignable. On YouTube, I'm BLE's Notary Support Group 2. And then I have the Academy, the Notary Education Group. And then I also just have the sidebar efficient stuff, but you can get to that right from benotaryservices.com.
Melissa,
And she's on the moon.
Shout out your socials,
Everywhere.
Melissa.
All of my socials across the board is at Notarizing Tampa. My LinkedIn, you'll see Melissa Battle, but it also says owner of Notarizing Tampa for the notary business.
All right, there it is. And you can find me on ayanalugo.com. That is for notary related training items as well. So yeah, I think that's it. So nobody else has anything.
No, have a good night, guys. We appreciate you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you for all the
Happy
support.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving.
We will talk to you guys later.
All right, gobble till you wobble.
Exactly.